Imagine this. You've just finished a long day, maybe at work, maybe running errands, maybe juggling a dozen invisible tasks at home. You're tired, your head is full, your body is drained. And then your kids, who you love with your whole heart, start doing the exact things that push every single button you didn't even know you had left. The noise, the arguments over nothing, the constant demands, the messes piling up faster than you can clean them. And suddenly, even though you adore them, you feel yourself thinking, I can't do this right now. They're driving me crazy. If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. In fact, you're human. And in those moments, what you do next can make all the difference, not just for your kids, but for your own peace of mind. That's what I want to share with you today. What I personally do when my kids drive me crazy, and more importantly, why these small shifts actually help. Here's the first thing I want to say. When you feel overwhelmed by your kids, it doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It means you're a human being with limits. And limits aren't weaknesses, they're signals. Signals that you need to pause, breathe, and take care of your nervous system before it takes control of you. Because here's the truth. When kids push our buttons, most of the time, it's not about the noise or the spilled juice or the sibling fight. It's about how our brains and bodies interpret stress. When I feel that familiar heat rising in my chest, I know my nervous system is saying, too much, too fast. And instead of snapping at my kids right away, I try to create just a little bit of space between their behavior and my reaction. Sometimes that looks like walking into another room for 30 seconds. Sometimes it's closing my eyes and taking one slow, deep breath, even if chaos is happening around me. It may sound small, but here's the psychology behind it. When you pause, even briefly, you shift from reacting out of survival mode to responding with awareness. You move from your stress response, the fight or flight system, to the calmer, wiser part of your brain that actually allows you to choose your next step. But I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't catch it in time. Sometimes I snap, and then the guilt comes. Maybe you know that feeling. 2. That sinking heaviness of wishing you had handled it better. Here's what I've learned. Guilt can either weigh you down or guide you forward. Instead of drowning in it, I use it as a reminder to repair. I'll go back to my kids and say, hey, I got too upset earlier. I'm sorry. Let's try again. And you know what? That moment of repair often teaches them more than if I had been perfectly calm all along. Because they see me being human, making mistakes, and then owning them. And that models something powerful: accountability, humility, and resilience. Another thing that helps me is remembering perspective. When my kids are driving me crazy, it's usually because they're being kids. They're testing boundaries, seeking attention, or expressing big feelings they don't know how to manage yet. It doesn't mean they're out to ruin my day. It means they're learning how to be human too. That shift in perspective softens my heart. Instead of seeing them as little people trying to make my life harder, I start seeing them as little people trying to figure out their own lives, with me as their guide. Something practical I often do in those moments is narrate out loud what I'm feeling. I'll say, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now, so I need a moment to calm down. Not only does this give me permission to step back, but it also teaches my kids the language of emotions. They start learning that it's okay to name feelings instead of exploding with them. And that's one of the greatest gifts we can pass on: emotional awareness. I also find it helpful to have small rituals that reset my energy. Sometimes it's putting on music and dancing with my kids. Sometimes it's going outside for a walk. Sometimes it's as simple as sipping water slowly while I watch them play. These little resets remind me that connection doesn't have to come in the form of perfection. It comes in the form of presence. And here's something I want you to really hear. Taking care of yourself when your kids are driving you crazy is not selfish, it's responsible. Because the calmer you are, the safer they feel. Kids don't need perfect parents, they need regulated parents. Parents who can show them that big feelings can be managed, not feared. So when the noise feels too loud, when the arguments never seem to stop, when the stress feels like it's closing in, I remind myself, this moment will pass, and I get to choose how I meet it. Not with shame, not with the lie that I'm failing, but with the truth that I am learning, just like my kids are learning. If you've been feeling stretched thin, I want you to know you're not alone. Every parent has moments of frustration, exhaustion, and overwhelm. What matters most is what we do with those moments. Do we let them harden us, or do we use them as chances to grow closer, to model self awareness, to show our kids that love is steady even when patience runs low? So, next time your kids drive you crazy, I hope you'll remember this. Pause when you can, repair when you need to, and remind yourself that both you and your children are learning in the process. That in itself is parenting at its best. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this video resonated with you, I'd love for you to give it a like, share it with another parent who might need this encouragement, and subscribe so we can keep walking this journey together. Because parenting isn't about perfection, it's about connection, and every day is another chance to practice. Until next time, remember this: you're not failing, you're growing, and so are your kids. Stay kind to yourself, stay hopeful, and keep showing up with love even on the messy days. That's where the real magic of parenting lives.